There's a story from one African tribe. When someone violates the rules and customs, they call together a gathering of all the members who form one great circle. That person's in the middle. Everyone in the tribe tells that person what is good about them, stories about good, kind, generous things they've done in their life. This ritual recitation can last for several days, and when over, the circle's broken and everyone celebrates as that person feels their welcome to the tribe again. That's just an example of a ritual, but it can be much simpler. As one woman came to me and her son was, struggling with some disabilities, early 20s, and she was so afraid he wouldn't find his niche in life. And she said, should I pray for him and imagine him surrounded by white light or what? She was just really scared that his life wasn't going to work out. And my suggestion was really simple, which is just meditate on his goodness. Just see what it is you love about him and just keep remembering that. It's so contagious when we see each other's light and in some way mirror that back. It's the greatest gift we can do. So whether we do it with our children, our parents, or our friends, or in some way we let them know, I love you and here's why. Here's what's beautiful about you. We all need that reminder. Refuge and Sangha in love. We need to know how to hold ourselves, our inner life also. One story, Gil Fronsdale tells us from his book, A Monastery Within, an engineer who visited the monastery regularly tried all sorts of different practices, but nothing seemed to overcome this chronic unhappiness. So he couldn't seem to find a way out, and finally the abbess decided to approach it differently and gave him a special practice, one he had to do outside of the monastery for 2 years. When he repeated, he could then come back for deeper teachings. And this was the practice. He was volunteering 10 hours a week at a maternity ward, at a hospital, holding babies who were born prematurely. Without enough physical contact, they couldn't grow healthily. So he plunged in and he'd hold these fragile little beings ever so carefully, watching their every breath, sensing the danger if they stopped breathing. And what he found most effective was to hold them very gently against his own chest. He was asking what they needed. 6 months passed. He felt something new, a little spot of warmth and softness in the very center of his being. It was foreign, didn't fit his ideas of himself, so he ignored it, not thinking it out. And that's good, because it would have interfered with the warmth, because he was thinking. Over months, the warmth expanded to fill his whole body and gradually dissolved the dark, hardened wall around his heart. He completed his time, returned. The abbess saw he was transformed, no longer desperate, no longer trying to fit everything into a conceptual framework. Her new instructions: when you meditate, don't think about what is happening. Rather, let your awareness be seated in the tender warmth you feel in your body. If you do this, any other meditation practice you do will be fruitful. And the man found this to be true. This is refuge in love. We're talking about the second refuge. We take refuge in love in our external relationships. We take refuge by holding the parts of our own being that are fragile and scared with tenderness, and by paying attention to that warmth, that tenderness in our heart, so that we're actually sitting in it and allowing it to fill our whole being. Refuge in love. So I'll invite you to reflect for a moment, as we did with refuge in truth. And as I mentioned, these are we're going to lead in from these reflections right into our ceremony. So in this one, you're reflecting on refuge in Sangha or love. And just to begin by sensing in an outer way, what are the relationships that are teaching you, that are growing you? Are there individual relationships where you feel like your hearts are waking up, where you're relating more and more consciously and intentionally? Are there groups you're in that are helping to awaken this heart space? Where are you taking refuge in Sangha in your life right now? And as you reflect on this, you might sense your intention to deepen your commitment there, to continue in this journey of finding refuge that can be so radically healing and freeing. Mary Oliver writes, so every day, I was surrounded by the beautiful crying forth of the ideas of God, one of which was you. Can we see that light, that God, that sacredness in each other?